Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Chelsea, and welcome to Handcuff Status Podcast. On today's episode, we will be discussing Black incarceration crisis, what it means, and the various forms of injustice from our criminal system. We have an exclusive interview with Renford Farrier, who was incarcerated for 32 years and serving a 10 years to life sentence for murder. He will be sharing his experience and story, so let's get right into it. What's up, Ren? How are you?
Yeah. Like I said, we live in. Every time people see me, I tell them if you never seen a man smile for 6 months straight, you're looking at him.
That's crazy.
Because we 6 months, like what? And some days, 5 days, four
Right.
days. Because December 21, June 21 was 6 month mark. So
That's amazing.
we're living
You've
right
just been
now.
smiling ever since, huh?
Yo, I had 32 years of bad days. No more bad days,
I
God
feel
willing.
you for sure. Before we begin, can you just give us a quick background about yourself?
Well, to start, like you said, I was incarcerated for 3+ decades, but above all that, you're looking at a father,
Mm-hmm.
grandfather, a son, brother
Right.
to an amazing family, right? You're looking at a man that looks like many a men that are going through some struggles that people shouldn't go
Right.
through. Originally from Jamaica, migrated to
Okay.
Canada when we were
Okay.
young in
Okay.
Toronto.
Right.
So everybody, Jane and Finch, don't know the thing, right?
Hey. Can you describe the circumstances for us that led up to your arrest and conviction?
My crime was a minute ago. So unfortunately enough, in those times, like opportunity for people that look like us was slim. There wasn't many opportunities athletically, and even those who had education, there wasn't many opportunities. So hustling was what a lot of us
Right.
did. It's sad because we did it to survive, not to become kingpins or murderers and bad people. We were just trying to survive.
Right.
I hustled to survive and live like most people. Within that lifestyle, you come across things that are out of your control sometimes. I got into a particular type of life in this game because I only sold weed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I figured if I sold weed, it wouldn't align me with the shit that was going on, excuse my language, that was going on with the crack world.
Right. Right.
Because I came up in the crack cocaine era.
Right.
All my man sold crack. And I says, you know what? I'm going to just work with weed. And I was killing it.
Yeah.
And I figured, like, as long as I'm doing that, but we still gun up because we live in that world that's gone up.
Exactly.
But in my naive young age, because you think you're a man when you like 19, 20, and yeah, you were grown. No, you isn't. But anyway, you have that thought because of the life that you're living and the responsibilities that you have. You think you're a
Of
man
course.
in those aspects of things, but mentally you still young,
Right.
right? And experiences you probably still young too, because you're just getting into life. One thing led to another to find myself involved with certain individuals that didn't understand the seriousness of this life. And one thing led to another, and I had to take his life because, I don't want to seem harsh or cruel in saying it, but mine was more important. Then I was arrested in Miami, Florida, like almost a year later.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the crime happened, I left the country. So when I got arrested in Miami, I was extradited back to Toronto
Yeah.
to face trial. I knew nothing about the criminal justice system. So I had to rely solely on my lawyer. My family and I had to rely solely on the lawyer and believe what this man was doing was to the best of our interests. You see, nowadays, while I hate to see mans in the bin and stuff, but at least I feel good to know that a lot of them know their rights and lawyers ain't tricking them the same way. So my lawyer convinced me and my family that the best thing for us to do was plead guilty to a lesser crime of second-degree murder, and which gave us a sentence of life 10.
Mm-hmm.
So all we heard was 10. So we figured, like, man, at 21, I can do 10 because my family was like, yo, bro, 10 different than 25,
For sure.
right? Nobody was thinking about them letters because that was never explained to us. It
Okay.
was just explained to us, you be on parole for life.
Oh. So you did not you weren't going into this thinking you could possibly spend life in prison.
Nah, this is what I mean. You because had the lawyer broken it down in these terms. If you plead guilty, you got no chance to ever fight this again.
Okay.
And you could be in prison for the rest of your
Right.
life. You can plead not guilty and you still have chances to fight this on appeal and things of that nature. You still have the option of spending life in prison, but you still got a fighting
You can, yeah.
chance. That's a whole lot different speech than, man, plead guilty. 10 years, you'll be paroled. You'll be on parole for life.
And this
Yeah, I
is
can do
coming
that.
from your lawyer, the lawyer that you're paying.
This is
This
coming
is,
from my lawyer. And like I said, because we believed him.
yeah,
There was no reason me and my family thought he would have been telling us anything differently than because he was a lawyer, like I said. Time and era matters, right?
right.
While we're treated horribly in the justice system now, we were absent then.
Okay,
So if you got a crime, chances are you were going away. So there was always the option to try to get the best going away present possible, meaning number of years. Messed up to say it like that, right?
right. It's okay.
But for real though, so it wasn't until I got to the penitentiary that I realized what a horrible mistake I made, right? Because now you encounter other prisoners and they hear what happened to you, like, yo, no, fam, that shouldn't have went that way. Because individuals that knew the actual crime, that shouldn't even have been murder,
Okay. And this was never even
right?
brought up to you beforehand. Like your lawyer never even tried to strategize with you and think of different ways to approach it. It was,
So again, hindsight is an amazing thing
mm-hmm.
because going through my trial, like I told you, I was arrested in Miami, Florida by the FBI's Violent Fugitive Task Force.
Okay.
There was all kinds of shady things in my case. And my lawyer said it to me one time, but we paid no attention to it because he was afraid from the minute he's like, man, you was arrested by the feds. This isn't a joke right now. And right there, we should have known that, oh, this boy's scared. But we didn't think nothing of it. We were just thinking, okay, yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But that was his fear because my family had went out and got me a lawyer that had never done a murder case before.
Oh wow.
And in hindsight, I should have went with him
Mm.
because he would have fought his ass off to win his first murder case.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Would have been his absolute first. It would have been his first. He would have killed somebody's child to win that case, right?
Right.
But I followed other people and went with a big firm and a lawyer that done a lot of murder cases, and I was just another black dude that didn't mean shit
Right.
because black dudes didn't mean shit then really. They don't mean nothing now, but less then, right? So with that said, we took that deal and we figured out, right, 10 years we good. The next thing nobody ever explained to us is you have to live like a civilian in prison.
Mm.
Because if you live like a prisoner in prison, you will be penalized for this. The fact that I thought I was just being a prisoner living in a prison never really dawned on me like, man, you're being punished for living in a prison, being a prisoner. So they want you to live like a civilian, a normal civilian in an unnormal, natural world. They got to be on crack. You get punished for this, and the recourse is to defend yourself is the friends of the people who are punished. You,
Yeah.
it's a vicious cycle and a vicious world, you know?
Right. What was your family's position in this? Like, were they supportive? Did they stick by you? Did they leave? Like, what was your relationship like with your family while you were incarcerated?
I'm going to give you everybody because it's only fair that
Mm,
happens. And I'm going to give it this way first because you see, like when you find a one, two good people, you have to covet them.
that's
Real
true.
talk.
Yeah, for sure.
You see anybody that's here, you seen the beginning of my sentence and things that nature. I had a lot of people with me, right? But I was a heartless bastard. I ain't even lying
Mm-hmm.
because I only cared about me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even though a lot of people, 32 years is a lot of time, you know what I mean? And people come and go. So I appreciated everybody. Even at the time when some left, I might have felt away, but I just look at it now and says, thank God they were there then,
Right.
right? Because it was a long journey. Not everybody could have stayed the whole way.
Right. Right.
Well, you see, my family, they was there day one day till December 21. They moved me all over the country in 32 years. I've been from west to east.
Right.
I've been in the highest level of prison, and my family came and see me everywhere.
That's amazing.
If they had to come out to Edmonton, they was there.
Wow.
Okay? They had to come to Quebec, they was there. No matter where I was. My mama lived in Miami, and she leave from Miami, come look for me wherever I am.
Wow.
My sister's in Toronto. We don't even talk on the phone when I was inside because the pain in her voice affected my time. Because if you know yard family and them thing there, the older one grow the one underneath them.
Right.
And then the one underneath them grow the one there.
Yeah.
And that's how the thing
Right.
set. So me there after my sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a sister, I'm a second mother.
Right.
You want me to translate it? Translate it for them?
I'm sure they
All
can
right, good.
understand. You're good.
All right.
You're good. You're good.
See,
Continue.
we didn't really talk on the phone much because of that. But you see, anytime I tell her, I say, I want to see you,
She's
no matter where me there. And the two of us block out that pain to enjoy that moment.
right.
Seeing my little brother, you seen, he's the one that came and got me out the gate. Remember me tell you the one underneath grow the one there. So you see him, I used to take him to the daycare.
Right.
And you see now he come and take care of me. That's how my family
It's
been.
a solid
And I
family.
represent my mother. If anybody know, I call my mother the general.
Mm-hmm.
And I call my mother the general because my mother came to Canada with nothing and brought 3 youth from Jamaica come. Single mother. See, we rate every mother. Whether you're single, have father, have mother, them a different thing,
For
right?
sure.
So my family was, yo, bro. Even no matter, my family never gave up, bro. I ain't even lying. Like, you got 3+ decades.
Yeah.
Like, my family never, ever, ever, ever said we ain't backing you.
That's amazing.
Ever. I went to the Supermax 4 times. And even in that, my family's like, yo, it don't matter. We don't know what you have to be doing to survive and live in there. So we got you out here. There was no judgmental of how I had to live there, as long as you survived and came home,
That's amazing. Like you don't usually hear that for 3 years though. Like not one person folded. Everybody was there by your side. Like that's amazing.
right? And like I said, we went through a lot of people. Cause like I said, I'm a father and grandfather, right? Like, fam, my daughter would come with her son, like, to make sure I introduce him to his grandfather.
Wow.
And they live in the six. They'd come to Quebec. I kind of lived 2 lives when I was inside.
Okay.
I lived a life inside the wall that everyone knew me as outlaw or law. But you see, to my family and everybody else, I'll just rent.
Hmm.
And while my family got the moments of the smile them that you see now,
Right.
the man them inside the wall got the love. But the walls always had that rage
Hmm.
that was unavoidable.
Right.
It made even the love that you wanted to give to the loved ones that were there for you unavailable.
Hmm. Since you're talking about being on the inside, like what role did you play like with the other inmates? Were you like a mentor? Did they look up to you? Like what was the relationship like with other inmates inside?
It took on a different form in the latter stage. In the early stages, it was guerrilla warfare.
Hmm.
Because I remind people that you like when I got to prison wasn't nice. There wasn't black people. It was all white, big, tattooed, psycho-looking people. And then they sent me to Canada's worst prison ever. And like we had to claw and fight to get out of there. It was crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I told you, 3 different times. Ontario banned me from being in their region.
Oh really? Why? Can if you don't mind me asking?
Jamaican unruly, right? But for me, it was survival. I didn't care.
Right.
No one was going to harm me.
Understood.
This is, and I explain that to people. I did none of these things for joy, for fun, for not survival. I was not going to be harmed and I was not going to suffer at the hands of anybody. So the first part of the sentence would have seen me, like I said, guerrilla warfare.
Right.
As time got on and I started to realize, like, yo, I even though I was still in the trenches, I always tried to give man's better ideas because I knew about the trenches. You know what I mean? I knew about the super maxes and I knew about lock up in the hole, and that breaks the best of them. Even though some of them don't know they're broken,
Right.
but that stuff does that to the best of them. So I always try to give man's the better view of things. If anybody seek counsel, I gave it, but I was never in a person to offer my opinion. I might give you a suggestion.
Right.
I have no opinions for you. When the opportunity presented itself to me every time, I would take it. Because if you come to me to tell me about something that's going on and an issue that you have with somebody that you're thinking about getting them,
Yeah.
that means you yourself got pause. So this is my opportunity to build on that pause. Because if you was really gonna go do that, it would have been done. So I always take those moments to save 2 people: the person taking the pause and the person who could have got if it wasn't a
Hmm.
pause. And with the years, man started to realize, like, Because, like I said, people know the time, you know what I mean, and know how you do the time. And I'll state it all the time. There's no way I rubbed 3 decades in a prison relatively unscathed
Hmm.
physically. No, mentally, I got some serious shit. Physically, I'm 100 fucking percent. Physically, I'm still like 32, right? It's crazy as that may seem. I'm in the gym every day at 8:30 morning till 10:30.
Right. That's good.
I run 10 kilometers every Saturday.
That's good. It's good to keep active.
But mentally, mentally, we got stuff up here we don't know
Hmm.
about. And this is all darkened. So you don't serve and survive
Okay.
that long of a time without the man that you're with rating you. And for the man to be that you're with rate you, you have to be righteous in a certain way and
Right.
straight in a certain
Of
way.
course.
You know what I mean? And for me, anything that place did for me and all of those things that allow me to learn how to communicate with man on a different level and always understand that as long as the road to communication is open, there's always a better understanding.
Right.
For me, that's just big up to all of the man that I came in contact with. Because they allowed that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing they gave me that platform, they gave me that space, and they gave me that respect. Mentor, elder, however you want to class it. I demand them make that possible. Seeing, and I demand them make physically me good and all of them things because let me tell everybody, it just take one man to get up today and just decide say you done cause the man not own them life of prison at the man side of you own that and at the man side of you decide say that done. You can get up move go a one neighborhood because here people are look for you or no, you're in the trench every day. You see, if you're not heal every man in the trench and respect every man in the trench, you're not gonna go too far down in the line in the trench. See, so again, just big up to the whole of the man them where they make me can reason with them and heal them and broke bread with them and any kind of blessing with them throughout the trench. You see me? Yeah, for real.
And what is it like? Were there any supports inside? Were there programs? Were there anything that like they had facilitated like for you guys to be in there, like with your men, especially for mental health, number one, but just like programs in general? Were there any supports like that inside?
The first one I'm gonna tell you is mental health. And it's a shame, because me myself, I'm guilty of it. Because black people were too proud for self with, with meds, no set that way.
That's true.
And especially black men,
Mm-hmm.
young, old, all of us, right? We just looking at the world and say, oh, everybody meds. I know say yeah, something that's straight. Nothing wrong for chat to somebody say yeah, I
Right.
feel that way,
Of course.
One of the people let me
That's
know that.
true. Yeah.
Is if you set that way and so, nothing wrong. Even if you want to chat to somebody where you don't know, just find there. Nothing wrong with that, cause John know a whole heap of pressure in the world.
Yeah. For sure.
Seeing? So I'm a true believer that you got to take care of your mental health. That's why they say physically active, because it helps with my mental. In those spaces, we try to find our mental well-being with each other the best we can in conversations with each other because the institution doesn't offer that space.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go to a psychologist and reveal your true feelings because you know that can be in a report used against you.
Right.
You just feel messed up and want to talk and figure this is a professional that you can talk to and like maybe get some kind of 1, 2 words to make this at least this 100 pound become 99. But if you go there, the 100 pound become 200 pound because now there's a report that can reflect negatively to what you're going through,
Right.
right? So your mental state is never where it should be
Mm-hmm.
because number one, you're incarcerated and locked up, not normal, and then you don't have a place to. The new word everybody I use is unpack that.
Well,
You don't have a place to unpack
yeah.
that, right? So, and that's not good,
Yeah.
right? So, and then all of the psychologists and all the professional people that attain most of those things, they look like the shirt.
Hmm.
They don't look like
Right.
us. So, right then and there, you're not really moving forward with the easy conversation to be had.
But do you think that would make a difference though? Do you think the color, skin color would make a difference?
Don't let skin color fool you, because black don't mean black all the time, right? You got to be culturally aware.
Yeah.
And that's misrepresented. That don't mean black mean you culturally
That's
aware.
very true.
You can be white and 100% culturally aware Chinese. You can be any ethnicity and be culturally aware of the surroundings around you. But don't forget, you can also be culturally aware and still be a racist piece of shit. Don't get it twisted. Right? So it's hard. Mental health is a major struggle in there. You know what I mean? Major struggle, major struggle. And for the guys that are like seeking something and do attend mental sessions and stuff like that, like I said, it turns out worse than it started
Hmm.
out. You find yourself with more issues.
Okay.
Programs they have there, they're not purposeful because it's teaching not absolute life skills, but life emotional skills.
Okay.
Life skills teaches me how to do a resume, how to conduct an interview, things that take place in society.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas emotional skills are my triggers, how I feel about certain
Right.
things, how I react to certain things, and how I view certain
Mm-hmm.
things. These are things that are installed in you from you're a young person
Yeah.
going through
Yeah.
life. And while it is essential and paramount that you continue to reiterate them and foster them throughout life and grow it and, as you mature and have mature things in life and life experiences. But that's not the important programming that is needed for individuals incarcerated looking to see the world. They have been absent from the world, so the programs that need to be happening are what's going to gear them ready for the world. And while the emotional aspect of things is critical and important, life skills is way more because now they have to go live life. That doesn't help guys learn how to get ID. At present, I'm studying to get my driver's license again and stuff like that. For myself, technology is somewhat of a challenge because when I went to prison, your phone wasn't a computer in your pocket, right? It was just a flip that answered or called.
Yeah.
See, so these are life skills.
Mm-hmm.
My emotions and triggers with maturity of age and things and certain experiences, you learn how to manage those. If you're not taught life skills, you're not going to survive. That's what prevents a lot of guys from being successful. So the programs inside, while they might offer some form of education,
Mm-hmm.
that's the best way I can put it, it's not offering the stability that guys need. I think that's the shortcomings of the system in itself because it's not like it's not able to do these things. I just don't
Right.
think they
Right.
want to do them. Like it's a business. More prisoners in jail, more money we get from the government.
Right.
Yo, you know how much money they got from me? And
32
they didn't
years
even
is a
gave me
long
none of
time.
that back. They paid almost $200,000 a year to keep me in jail for 32 years. Shit. You ain't even to just give me 5 years of that. I'm good.
You're good.
Okay.
Oh my
200,
God.
almost 200 grand a year
For
to
32
keep me in
years.
jail. Do you know the best part about all of that? Through all of the denials of parole and stuff, it was always the mention, oh, because you've been here so long,
Mm.
we have to slowly and gradually release you, and it's going to take time. And so they were telling me, because you've been here so long, we have to keep you longer
To release you.
bef- before we can let you out.
Yeah.
Kind of backwards thinking. If you're saying I've been here so long that fuck, letting me out isn't going to be a simple thing, how is keeping me longer going to make it easier? We finally won our way out here and we're adjusting in some fashion as if we never left. What service did they do to me holding me that long saying that I wasn't ready? And clearly we can see they were wrong.
But I just wanted to touch on your release process briefly. Like just how long did it take like going through the parole system and getting how many parole hearings did you have and before they were finally saying, "Okay, we're going to release you."
I went through, I think 6 or 7 hearings.
Okay.
And all the hearings was the same thing, like I just said. The narrative read like this, and it's so funny. It reads like that for most guys that look like me and doing sentences like me.
Right.
It was my paperwork was lined with subculture activity, for those who don't know what subculture is, in prison, subculture is a scale of many things. But the subculture they align me with and guys that look with me is the prison drug subculture,
Okay.
right? That they have reliable information and reliable sources and
Hmm.
that state that we are a major player in the institution of drug trade and this and that. Remember,
Right.
reliable sources and reliable information that says
Wow.
this is what this is, that, the other, and the third.
Right.
So to kind of veer off for a sec, what a person doesn't understand about prison is when an accusation is made, charges aren't laid where you can defend yourself.
Okay.
An accusation is made and it goes into your file, and that report stays in your file and
Oh wow.
becomes gold. It becomes significant. It has weight,
Wow.
and you are never able to face, see, know who it is that is saying you are doing what you've been accused of, but it's used
Okay.
against you.
Right.
If you say, no, I'm not, prove it.
Hmm.
The proof is we have reliable sources that say, okay, cool, but if your reliable source says this, where is the evidence?
Right.
Would you like to know what I was told? We don't need to prove you're guilty. You need to prove you're innocent.
Hmm.
Now, isn't that some?
That is wow. I thought it was
I was
innocent
told this.
until proven guilty.
I was told this
Wow.
by a high ranking individual within Correctional Services of Canada. When I found myself in a situation asking, how is this even possible? We don't have to prove you're guilty. You need to prove
Right.
you're
You have to
innocent.
keep
That was
innocent.
just insane. We went through numerous, every parole hearing read the same, like I just told you, reliable information involved in subculture. Um, and in the course of really being involved in my parole hearing this time, it allowed me to learn a lot of stuff. And it allowed me to learn the language that is used in our reports that we may just see as simple words, but they are actually prejudicial and race-based words. A lot of the active like attitude problem,
Right.
issues with authority, won't take direction. Things of that nature are basically in line and filled on black guys reports and files and papers. I can go for 100 black guys and all of our paperwork probably read the same.
Right.
The only difference will be our name and our FPS and our probably parole officer's name and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, all of our reports are going to read the same. I guarantee you.
Wow.
In going through my last parole hearing here allowed me to really learn the process and study what parole hearing actually is, right? So I had a parole in 19, no, sorry, 2017.
Okay.
And at that parole hearing, after that hearing, was a shed a whole new light for me on just how cruel the system is. I was denied parole in 2017 while having support. When I filed for the hearing recording to appeal the decision, they said my hearing wasn't recorded. This is illegal.
So all hearings are supposed to be recorded.
This is the law.
Mm.
In the beginning of your hearing, there is a lady who reads, like the stenographer in courtroom.
Yeah.
They have one in the parole hearing who does it in recording.
Okay.
She says that I am so and so, and I'm here that to make sure the guidelines of the parole hearing are followed, and yada yada. I listened to her say it into the recording, and
What was
when
their
I
reason for that?
applied, pardon,
Did they say why it wasn't recorded? Did they have a reason for that?
it wasn't working.
Oh, so they didn't know that on the day of though.
No,
Oh, okay.
they did not know this on the day. Like apparently, I guess they don't test it before they actually start to
I
use
guess
it.
I guess not.
So this really shined a light on me as to how like we really have no rights.
Mhm.
because how is my rights able to be infringed upon in such a way and nobody said anything?
Right.
Even the lawyer that I was using bailed on me,
Mm.
and I couldn't understand it because I was like, shit, this is my right.
Right.
How are you as a lawyer gonna bail on me when they're violating my rights?
Right.
I told myself at my next parole hearing, I would get out of jail because I told myself at my next parole hearing, I'm going to know everything I need to know.
Right.
And one of the things I want demand them to know that get this, the thing at the parole hearing that you have to learn is to speak their language. You need to know how to say what you want to say, but you got to learn how to say it in their language.
Right.
It's a weird thing. They don't speak the way we do.
Right. For sure.
When we go in there speaking to them the way we speak, trying to relate to them what's happening here and what is, their ears are turned off. So I studied
Yeah.
and I learned how to speak their language. And I did it every day. And how I did it was interacting with them. And again, that's why I have to love enough for the man them and rate the man them. You had one and two like a waste man, but for the most part, man and man didn't fight the thing.
Right.
Because you got to remember, I went from never chatting to the boy them to now I was interacting with the boy them because I needed to understand how they
How
spoke
they? Yeah. For sure.
and what they said and how they said it and why when we spoke to them they weren't hearing us. They weren't
Okay.
listening. Once I did that, then I found out how to make legal. So one of the things that everybody and I learned this from the lawyers, when you do a parole hearing, you have two types. You have a
Okay.
paper hearing and you have an in-person hearing. So when most people hear about a paper hearing, they see it as a downside. Even I did. I was
Mhm.
like, this is a disrespect. What do you mean a paper hearing? Here I'm fighting for my life. You're talking about a paper hearing? You want me
Right.
to apply on a piece of paper to get release? What are you
Right.
talking about right now? You're not giving me the common courtesy to come in front of you to speak for my freedom? And my lawyer told me, no, this is the opportunity we wanted. And like I tell every man, I want to see everybody out. So you see everybody that has their parole lawyers and things of that nature, and they're going for those things. What we did, we bombarded the parole board with information,
Hmm.
bombarded them.
Okay.
I mean, I was sending my lawyers documents maybe 3 times a week. Every conversation I have, I documented. And every request I made, I photocopied.
Hmm.
Everything to do with my
Right.
release and my interaction with my parole officer and things of that nature. If I went and asked for an ETA, I brought a request with me. And when she said no, I said, could you please write it down here?
Right.
And then if she refused to that, I would have a second request. Could you please explain why you did not sign this first request?
Right.
So now she's forced to sign the first request because she doesn't want to answer to the second request.
Oh, well, right. Of course.
And I would send these to my lawyer, and my lawyer would send these to the parole board.
Hmm.
Why this is important? Once the parole board receives all these documents, it's too much. They've been bombarded. And now your lawyer has slipped in a legal argument. By law, if there is something in your document that the parole board is unclear of, they have to summon you to come clear it up. So now when they summoned you to clear it up, they already know your file. They know everything.
Right.
This isn't you going to go meet them and them going solely on the file that corrections has sent them.
This is. They have everything.
They have everything.
Right.
They have requests. They know who you are coming to them now. You
That
have
makes sense.
made a file and sent it to them, different than what your parole officer has
If,
sent to them.
right.
Because
Right.
particularly the only file they get is what CSC sends them. The fact that guys go to their hearing, they might send some documents to the PBC, right? That they've collected and stuff like that.
Right.
Bombard them. Okay. So when they come to the hearing, if they can't answer for some
Mm-hmm.
of the documentation you sent them, this
Right.
isn't a legitimate hearing.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Right.
So I want the man to know that was key in my thing. And it was because my lawyers gave a shit this time around. You understand? This time around, I got a group of lawyers that realized, oh, this is some bullshit. This is not happening in Canada. This is not even real. Are you a real? Some people didn't believe I exist. When when I told people I'd been in jail for 32 years on a lifetime sentence, some people thought I was lying to them. But that's not possible in Canada. The first person I encountered at year 25, and I said I was only sentenced to 10. They said, "You've been here 25 years?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "That's not possible." I said,
Wow.
that doesn't happen in Canada." I said, "Yeah." I said, You must have, like, you killed somebody here, right?" Says, "No." I says, "In my 32 years of incarceration, I've been caught with 2 shanks and about 150 grams of hash." That's the extent of my prison. And 3 prison assaults, which was retaliation, somebody attacking me and I'm defending myself.
Right.
32 years. Some people have 3 fights a day. The parole process is key, and if I can stress to the man them, it especially the guys that are doing L, your parole hearing is a brand new trial all over again, and you have to take it as such because of your freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fight for.
It's like you're fighting
See?
for your life,
And
essentially.
Y- Yes, and anything that you can have to your advantage, use it.
Mm-hmm.
Another key thing that I use, I'm gonna let the man them know with the time that's there. Like I told you, I learned their language. So you see, when I learned their language, I in turn, I don't want to say I turned them, but I softened some of them. I was able to do something that was never done in any parole hearing, and that again was because I bombarded them with paperwork ahead of time. I sent them letters of character references from over 20 correctional officers. That's because I spent 5 years talking with these people
Mm-hmm.
and letting these people understand, yeah, I might have killed somebody, but I ain't a savage. I'm a human being and I deserve a chance to live a human being life again.
Of course. Of course.
And if you say something enough in repetition to a person, it registers.
Yeah.
And if you say it to the right people enough times, they will pass it on to register to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's what took place. So again, it's your freedom you're fighting for. So you have to go get it. Go get it right though. Don't switch on nobody, turn the thing the wrong way. Cause that's the greatest thing that I can say. I never ride nobody's coattail, come out here. I never skate on nobody's back. And nobody can say, yo, because I love me there. I love that. That's great. 32 years. Some people can't say that if I want, right? But it is truly, truly it's people ask me what it was like, and I still don't know how to describe that. I get it a lot. What was it like? I still don't know how to explain it because in some ways it's even surreal to myself now,
I could
right?
imagine.
That yeah, in some ways it's really surreal to myself. Like when I look back, I don't even remember 32 years.
Hmm.
And yet still like as long as it was, like I don't see back that far.
I
See?
understand.
And I only want to know what's up ahead, bro. Real
And what
talk.
does that look like for you? Talking about what's up ahead. What does that look like for you?
I recently got myself in line with an employment opportunity and I've been actually hired
Nice.
by the John
Congratulations.
Howard Society, right?
Congratulations.
As a support worker. And
That's big.
John Howard is an entity that I've known it since I've been in corrections 1991, and they used to represent great things for offenders and their family. No cap, right? Like John Howard and Elizabeth Fry used to have a program in Ontario where they used to pick up offenders, wives, and girlfriends, and mothers and sisters and children in 3 spots in Ontario: Scarborough Town Center, Rexdale, and I think Yorkdale Mall, Scarborough Town Center, and I want to say Sheridan Mall, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And they would drive your family in a bus. There, I think it was 3 of them on the weekends for like $5 or something like this.
Right.
And never mind all that, they also had like a rooming house where your family
Oh,
could
wow.
stay for the weekend for like $5. And that program was sponsored through John Howard and Elizabeth Fry. And that the intention behind that was to keep the family unit strong and together and allow the visitations and the easy access
Right. Right.
the best way possible.
Wow.
So
That's
I've been
amazing.
employed by them, and there was the one of the ladies, Catherine Latimer. She's the executive director for John Howard Canada. She was instrumental in helping to get my story out about for my release.
Wow.
And then now they stepped up to the plate again and hired me to say, "Hey, we weren't just capping; like we really trying to change the face of things." You know what I mean?
I love that.
And so this is a great opportunity to do a lot of stuff. And as I've spoken to many people, the man them inside are a human being like every other human being. And if only people knew the potential of enough man that's there,
Hmm.
you'd be astonished. You'd be astonished. There are so many creative, smart dudes there. It blows my mind sometimes when I think about some of the people I've encountered in prison, the level of intelligence and just geniusness of some of them. The platform that I'm hoping this employment opportunity offers me is to assist a lot of these men to reach their potential, whether they're in there or on their way out.
I love that.
Because again, this is a national organization and been I think they kind of lost their way when they kind of got too deep, got crushed and got too deep up in their belly and stuff. So we're hoping to help bring it back to its grassroots.
Nice.
And in no short term, put some black up in that.
All
See, I ain't gonna lie to you, right? Real talk.
right.
And so it's an amazing opportunity. And as well, I want to hit this here because this is important. August 10th is Prisoners Justice Day, right? And it's recognized globally,
Mm-hmm.
mainly here in Canada, and a lot of it has been lost, and the authenticity, lost that word of it has been lost as well, you know. And this August 10th,
Right.
I'm doing something with Elizabeth Fry and Path Legal. And I want to call on anybody that's in league with Handcuff. We're gonna put it out there. We're gonna have a bulletin board for individuals to put what they think prisoners justice day mean, what it mean to them, their loved ones, how they've been affected by it,
Mm-hmm.
and just tell us. And we're gonna stream the event August 10th, right? And we'll read off some of those things that have been posted on the board. Because like I said, as somebody who's been there 3 decades, I've seen the diminishing of what prisoners justice day mean. And it's a major thing for anybody who has done time because it allowed you to be able to call your family.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed you to write letter.
Yeah.
Because before Prisoners Justice Day, there was a lot of restrictions mans had to go through. You would given certain number of sheets of paper for the month, so you had to choose who you wrote and how often you wrote.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean? Like you had to be in your cell and your lights turned off, no exceptions at a certain time. And individuals fought to make sure things like that didn't happen and that conditions became somewhat better, and that's what that day represents. So we want to make sure people search out the information and really see what it is that that day represents, and join us. You know what I mean? And like I said, we're gonna put it out there early. It's gonna
Yeah.
be on the IG page and everything.
Sounds good. So before we wrap up, is there just one last thing that you want to leave with us?
You see these platforms here? Alhamdulillah, man. Because when I was talking to one of the creators of it, I was amazed at the talent level and the skill of the interviewer yourself.
Thank you.
And
I
yeah,
appreciate
and then
that.
to learn that like this is a relatively new field to you. And again, it just goes to show the brilliance of people, right? Because you took to it naturally. And in order to be a good interviewer, you got to be a good listener because you got to let the person talk. And you were brilliant at that.
Thank you. I
You
appreciate
know what
it.
I
Thank
mean?
you.
Right? So it's just another example of helping the people find their skill set,
Right.
right? Because not all of us are builders, not all of us are runners, not all of us are jumpers, but we all got amazing skill set. And we got to find that skill set and be
That's true.
amazing with it. And for all of the man them, when I left, wherever I left from, with whoever I left, I said I ain't leaving nobody or forget nobody. Mean that. Seeing those 32 years are stuck inside my bones.
Right.
There's no way I don't feel anything any of you are feeling.
Hmm.
I used to tell people when the jail sweat, nobody see it. I see that. So I see every suffer, every scar, every fuck this sucks. I feel you, broski. But know that 100%. If you're trying to stop that feeling, handcuff status,
Hmm.
freedom is a must.
For sure.
And we here, and there's more of us. And the more you reach out to us, the more of us there's going to be. You know what I mean? Enough respect for handcuff status to give me that platform. And
It was a
yeah,
pleasure. It was a
start
pleasure
doing
talking
things.
to
And I
you.
love that.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And also, congratulations on the opportunity, the new job that you have. I can already tell that you're going to do great. This job was like the way you speak, the way you talk, the knowledge that you have. I know you're going to do some great things. So, looking
Yeah, I
forward to
appreciate
seeing
that. I
what you have
appreciate that.
coming up next. I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. So, We just want to thank you again for
I
joining us.
hope we can get Handcuff in on it. Like I said, it's major. We're trying to
For
make it
sure.
major. It's August 10th, right?
All right.
And just on closing, I have another engagement that I'm going to be making sure every platform I get, I let people know what's happening with us.
Okay.
Um, October 6th or 9th, I'm not exact sure. October 9th, I want to say,
Okay.
I'm headed to BC
Mm-hmm.
to speak at a lawyers conference in
Nice.
regards to the struggles of no lawyers helping individuals for parole
Mm-hmm.
because it's not a lucrative thing,
Right.
right? So we're at a conference in BC trying to put some other ideas in these lawyers' mind that it ain't always about the bread.
Hmm.
You became a lawyer to uphold the law. Some of
That's
that's needed for the gentleman behind the wall.
That's major. Thank you. That's big.
Thank you.
So, we would like to thank Renford Farrier for sharing his story with us today. And for all those incarcerated, remember freedom is a must. Free all the lifers and shout out Private Spaceship. Thank you all for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and follow Handcuff Status Inc. on all major platforms. If you have any questions or suggestions, send it to us. And never forget our mission breaking the chains of injustice.